This is crazy. People believe this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Christians believe this stuff.
Someone had to make this graphic.
Because of a verse in Genesis? I love that there are flat earthers in the chat right now.
Wow. There are real life.
How are you guys here?
Ruslan.
Okay, check this out. This blew my mind.
Alrighty. So this is a non-scientific theology of the earth. And when I mean scientific, I don't mean divisive. I don't mean anti-Christian. I just mean science as in like the study of things. So this is a non-study of things version of the earth. Now there's levels to flat earth. I can't tell if they believe that the earth is still spherical, but it's clearly just flat here. If you look at the thing, it's just flat, right? And there's a literal chambers of heaven above and like a literal hell below. Like it's down and it's up. The levels to flat earth are like, some people think we're just like a pancake floating and then there's still sun that like orbits around or goes around, whatever.
Yep.
This believes that the sun is inside the flat earth firmament.
Wait.
The sun.
The sun and the moon are inside of this dome shape. This is
the like, waters above the firmament.
Hold on. This is like the Truman Show.
Yes.
Can you pull up a mock of the Truman Show?
Yep.
This is amazing. Oh my gosh. The firmament, bruh? I didn't know this was a thing until 2 hours ago. There's people that believe this.
This is amazing. Yep. That's the Truman Show. It's like the earth, but then there's like, I don't know why
there's like a dome around.
Yeah, there's the dome
thing,
around,
and there's
that's
the
just
sun
a painting of the sky,
and the lights are all controlled inside of the dome. There it is, right there, at the very bottom.
Oh, like this. Essentially, yeah, that's what the Truman Show. And that's what the Truman Show reveal is when he walks up the side of the firmament. That's essentially what this is. So the firmament, going back to the firmament.
Go back to the firmament.
Is the sun is inside this guy. The moon is inside. The stars are inside. And then above are the waters of the firmament. So they also don't believe like space is real. They believe it's all like...
I just came from the NASA Space Center in Houston, by the way.
They believe it's all made up. What else? Obviously the moon landing is fake. Debatable, right?
I used to believe Rob Skibba's version of the flat earth until Pastor Steven Anderson corrected me. Pastor Steven Anderson corrected you on the flat... Oh, well, I mean, hey, rare Steven Anderson W. Okay? Keep going. Keep breaking this down to us.
Yeah, so I mean, this is it's just flat Earth and then with the sun inside.
But the heavens are literally the
chambers
clouds.
of heaven are like literally up.
So
when they say they're looking down on you, they're like very literal about that.
And then then hell is literally underneath you.
You got Sheol, the home of the great deep. We got fountains of the deep. Also, everyone that lives in Southern California knows that we've never been over the side of the mountains here.
The mountains just end everything.
Yeah. You're like, oh, we've never been over the other side of the mountains. It must be the end of the earth. So that's the firmament. That's interesting. I mean, hey, man.
Hey, do me a quick favor. Pull up
portals. It says
portals.
Windows portals into another dimension.
This is crazy. People believe this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Christians believe this stuff.
Someone had to make this graphic
because of a verse in Genesis, right? The firmament in Genesis or something like that.
Okay.
All right. Look this up. Flights that disprove flat Earth. There's flight routes that disprove the Earth is flat. Have you guys seen this? I know this because I watch you ever get into different pockets of YouTube? Once I went down a rabbit hole of like pilots and like just what's it like being a pilot. I don't know how I went down this rabbit hole, but I went down this rabbit hole and I discovered this pilot who talks about all things flying. He flies private, and then he offered to have a bunch of flat earthers contract them out to prove to them that there are flight plans that instantly disprove that the earth is flat. Wow, it's Frosty Game said, and this is what happens when you take the Bible hyper literally. Next you'll teach me Jesus was a literal door made of wood. Yep, that's what happened. So that's one. Yes, I think if you go from South America across to Asia, that instantly disproves that the earth is flat. Because because the way their map is laid out, you can't fly that way. You know what I mean?
How the flat Earth map is laid out, it would be
impossible.
It would be impossible.
Hey, you want to see something kind of crazy? Over 75% of the people that watch this channel are not subscribed. Please consider subscribing and turning your bell notification on so that you don't miss anything we have going here. Pull this up real quick. Look up pilot flat Earth offer and see if it comes up.
There's a flight that's considered impossible by some people, and that's this flight here, Buenos Aires to Perth.
That's what I just called it. That's what I just called it, right?
Yep.
You know I'm super sensitive, so it's time for flat earthers to put their money where their mouth is. In 2021, I made a very simple video offering how flat earthers could prove the earth was flat or not without doing crazy laser science experiments. And that was made for everyday people who aren't scientists or engineers, something that anybody can prove for themselves whether the earth is flat or not. Charter a plane, fly from Argentina down to Australia, and then they can see that we took off, turned south, and that would be it.
So he's saying, if you can accomplish this by driving straight, the earth is flat.
Absolutely.
Knowing that that's impossible, that you can't just drive.
Seems pretty
or
simple
fly.
and easy, right? But some people have written me saying I'm not keeping my promises of the challenge to fly them around the world.
Oh, you said you'd be pilot, and you said if we chose your company, but you won't even tell us who his company is. So this is the kind of thing, this is why I said, hold these people's feet to the fire.
But I wanted them to organize the trip, not me. Listen to what I said. Let's get a bunch of flat earthers together that you get at your conventions. You can sell some tickets. Hey, you can even make some profit on it. It doesn't really matter to me, but you can charter this aircraft and go anywhere you want to go. I didn't say I wanted to organize your trip. I said you could organize a trip. You could sell tickets. You could make a profit. I didn't say, oh, let me organize your vacation, because I'm not a travel planner. I'm a pilot. And essentially what that means is when I go to work, I show up to my plane, everything's been fixed, the flight plan has been worked
Pause
out.
it. Do you know how many people would have to be in on it for the earth to be flat?
So many.
The flat earth community is able to organize flat earth conferences, or whatever these are called. So I thought it'd be easy for them to coordinate their own flight, but I was wrong, and I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong, and it's all right, I organized it for you. Now I got a lot of different messages of, we should start here, I want to start here, we should end back where we started, we should do it like this, I want to do this, and so it got very confusing, but there was one consistent message that I got from everybody, and that was this. This is the undoable flight to the flat earth community. It's Buenos Aires to Perth, Australia. Now I made this a straight line, but this is not a flight plan. So it took me a bit of legwork to find somebody who had the plane that had that type of range, the availability, the crews, because they're going to have to fly to Buenos Aires with a whole crew, land there empty, and then they're going to have that crew lay over and then prepare for the flight back, which is going to be roughly 16 hours. Now I have to give the flat earthers credit here, because some of them do believe there is a massive wall there. So if they believe that this flight is impossible and they're willing to fly down to Buenos Aires and think about risking their life to get on a plane, get way outside their comfort zone and take off to fly south, I have to respect that. I have to respect anybody who's willing to do something way outside their comfort zone.
He's like, they technically would be signing up to die, so I get why they wouldn't sign up.
Yo!
That's funny.
Now, like I mentioned earlier, I'm not flying the plane, and pilots don't control the flight path anyways. That's set up by dispatchers. So this is just a point-to-point line. I'm not saying that's the route we're going to fly. What I can tell you is that we're going to take off from Buenos Aires.
They're going to be like, I feel the plane turning. He's already wrong.
He got access to new technology that'll make this impossible flight possible and make it faster.
They put screens in the windows.
We're going to be flying south, and we're going to end up in Perth. The flight's going to be roughly 16 hours, which is not possible on your flat Earth map. I think I read somewhere that someone said that it would be roughly 30 hours on this flat Earth map. And since there are some flat Earthers that also have YouTube channels, I'm very excited to see their videos explaining how I was able to get a bunch of people in Texas to talk with an Australian accent and convince their dogs to jump around on 2 feet. I created a Kickstarter campaign, and the thing that I like about Kickstarter is that it's all or nothing. Meaning if we don't raise enough funds, nobody has to pay anything.
This man put a Kickstarter together.
That's amazing.
The other thing you need to realize is that people are pledging money when they do a Kickstarter campaign.
Let's see if he finished.
Where is he at? Oh!
He said they need 1 million. He's playing them.
Is that what it would cost?
I mean, he put 1.4 million.
They raised 50K.
This man's trying to get like another private jet with a film crew to film the actual plane from the outside flying south, and that they're not in a thing.
Yo, I love that there are flat earthers in the chat right now. I feel so bad for you.
Wow. There are real life flat
How are you
earthers.
guys here? This is what too much time on the
Your
internet
ego
does.
is telling you to know the truth, laughing as though you know more than another without ever experiencing anything with your eyes. That's the danger, is that with your own eyes part.
Bro, this is what happens
While also watching Christian YouTube.
When you're raised
Like what? Wait, what? Did we just finish a Bible study and you're talking about how you don't believe things without you seeing it yourself?
Wow.
Oh my goodness. That's phenomenal.
All right. Apparently, there's also another way to prove it, that there's some sort of moon lights that you could shoot. You could shoot stuff up to the moon and it'll come back to you. Look that up for me. I figured that was another clear way to prove that space is real and that NASA is not
Proving like the moon is real, or what are we proving?
The Earth is round because there's some sort of mirrors on the Earth that you can shoot into the sky. Yeah, it's not a meme though. Flat Earth is not a meme anymore. There's folks that really believe this. There's folks that really believe this. Did you look it up?
Proof we made it to the moon. You can still bounce a laser off it today. An American flag wasn't the only thing astronauts left behind on the moon 50 years ago. One of the experiments taken into space on Apollo 11 was called the Lunar Laser Retroreflector, and it still works even today, though perhaps not as well as it did, just like it did in 2010 episode of The Big Bang Theory. The idea behind it was we needed to accurately measure the distance between the Earth and the moon, see if that distance varies, map out its orbit, explained Todd Yeager, a lunar laser expert who used to work at NASA. It comes back, I take the round trip, divide by 2, multiply it by the speed of the light, and great, I've got the distance. So when Buzz Aldrin left the moon lander, he laid out the reflector module on the surface that enabled scientists here on Earth to shoot a laser at the moon and have that light reflected right back at them. We, of course, had to have the same sort of algorithms, calculations worked in to figure out how to get these into a sustainable orbit around the Earth. They had to work this in the algorithms and calculations that the processors do on these satellites. Otherwise, the accuracy would have drifted out in minutes. We're used to them being accurate. Wow.
Yeah, man. So listen,
Interesting.
There's folks that believe really interesting stuff. And this is the issue with postmodernism and relative truth, is then anyone can believe anything and it needs to be deemed as equal. You know what I mean? And like we've went off the rails with it in terms of social things, but when it comes to basic stuff like this, this is where it's seeped into. And so we would laugh at the person that was biologically born a man saying they could be a woman. We would laugh at that, but we won't laugh at someone that's like obviously the earth is not. Right?
What a crazy comparison.
And we would
so great.
And we would respect them more if they're a flat earther. Like, well, man, listen, you just gotta it's like, no, bro.
Yeah.
This is just as equally as ridiculous.
Hey, this is a segment from our daily after party stream. Consider partnering with us online for as little as $5 a month to get access to these daily after party streams completely unedited. You'll also get access to our podcast as they are streamed live into the community before anyone else gets to see them, get to interact with our guests, get access to our private Discord server, and a discount code for our store for as little as $5 a month. Ultimately, that will help towards helping us continue contextualizing the gospel using media and podcast here on YouTube. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.